Welcome to the Supreme Hustle Experience. Hi, my name is Terrence, and I am your Supreme Hustler. Let me first start off by saying thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come spend some time with me. Today, I want to talk about how having the right attitude is your secret weapon to crushing it in 2025. And the right attitude is the key to success, period. When you have the right attitude, you're able to overcome a lot of different obstacles because you got to understand attitude attracts how it feels. So if you have a positive attitude, you're going to attract positive things and positive people, positive situations. If your attitude is negative, you're going to attract negativity. It just is what it is. And one of the things about being on this space in YouTube, my approach is to have the right attitude. That's why early on in this process, I'm focusing on the 3 principles that I've been talking about in the last few videos. And that is consistency, confidence, and improving. The consistency part is, of course, uploading a video every single day. In the beginning, when I first started this channel, and I was listening to a lot of new YouTubers and people that were getting the success and it was starting to happen for them, they were saying post 2, 3, 4 videos a day. Now, that sounds good in theory, and it works for them, but it's not sustainable. Because when I first started off, I was trying to get everything right. And when you do that, that's why they say perfect is the enemy of good. You're focusing on, you want the editing to be right. You want the lighting to be right. You want the video quality right. You want everything to be right. But then what happens is you're not good at it yet. And so you're not satisfied with the outcome. So you keep on redoing it and redoing it. And then it just gets to the point you never get started. And so as I was watching a lot of these YouTubers, they were just talking about how they just use their phone and they just post. They don't edit, they don't do anything. And that works for this particular space that I found out, that you really don't have to do all of that. Editing and great thumbnails, it's just connecting with people. So I get that part. Now, the thing that I realized that was not sustainable for a person like myself, because like I said before, I deal with ADHD. That type of stuff will consume me. That type of stuff will frustrate me, especially when the thing doesn't work out the way I want it to work out and it doesn't happen in the time frame I want it to happen in. And so I started off the first day, I did put about 3 videos out there. And I was going to have an edited video, then I was going to shoot a video with my phone and post all of that. But that's a lot of work. And if you are even remotely understand how this process works, that's very time consuming. And the thing is, the key word is consuming. When you start getting consumed by it, where you don't get anything else done, guess what? That affects your attitude. It affects your attitude with your family. It affects your attitude with your coworkers, with your friends, because you're focused on something that's consuming your time that you're not really getting a return from it yet. So that's why my approach was no, just 1 video a day. And that's helping me to build the consistency, and it's allowing me not to get caught up and consumed by, okay, I got to put this video out. I got to put 3, 4 videos out. And now I'm doing that all day, and that's all I'm thinking about all day. And so with that consistency also comes with me understanding the different tools that I'm using. Now I'm consistently using Photoshop, and I'm consistently using Premiere. So I understand how those tools are working now. I'm getting much better at making my thumbnails. I'm more efficient and quicker. I know how to design a thumbnail in Photoshop within a few minutes, when in the beginning, when I first started doing it, it would take me maybe an hour or 2 to just to make 1 thumbnail, and that could be discouraging. And the reason why I slow it down and just do a little bit at a time. So in the beginning, I just focused on the titles, focused on improving on my thumbnail, and I would do a little bit each time so I could get familiar with the tool, because it's a learning curve there. Understanding what to do with Premiere Pro. I even use Camtasia too, because Camtasia is good for recording my screens. But that has a learning curve. And so if you're trying to do everything at once, it's going to overtake you and overcome you. And next thing you know it, you're discouraged, you want to quit and give up. And so for me, I'm taking it one step at a time, improve 1% a day. That's helping me to build that consistency, and that's giving me a consistent, good attitude, positive attitude. The next point, like I said, is about the confidence. When I first started shooting in front of this camera, I wasn't articulating myself very well. I was doing a lot of ums and ahs and losing focus, because I'm trying to remember everything that I want to say, because I don't have anything structured. I don't have anything written down. And so doing this consistently, it starts to build my confidence to where I'm able to speak in front of the camera a lot better. I still make a lot of mistakes, but it's minimum to when in the beginning when I used to make the mistakes. Now I can pretty much almost shoot a whole video without having to stop it, start it again. I can just go straight through it a lot of the time. Sometimes I mess up and I have to retake. But the reality of it is, it's starting to build up my confidence. I'm getting more confident in the softwares that I'm using. And that's cool. And now I'm getting more and more efficient. Now I'm introducing After Effects, because I want to create my own animations for my graphic animations. I want to do it myself. I like to learn new things. That's me. And that's why I'm not so much in a hurry to get monetized. That's why I'm not focused on getting monetized. I'm just focusing on these 3 principles. I'm not focused on how many views I'm getting. If I get a view, if you're watching this, thank you. You gave me a view, and I appreciate that. But again, it's a lot for me as the audience of 1. Just a couple of days ago, I got 3 subscribers added to the channel with me and myself. And hey, that's a big win for me, because I'm doing all of this organically, and I'm learning different ways on how to reach people and connect with people. And like I said, the 3rd principle is improving. Like I said, I just want to improve 1% a day. Every day, I want to improve just 1%. And being able to improve in my editing, being able to improve in taking the videos. Also, this year in 2025, I'm going to launch my photography studio, where I am going to take portraits. I like taking portraits, and I'm going to go out there and get clients for that. This is helping me to improve in those areas of editing, because I have to edit those photos. I have to make sure that they're looking good for the clients. I have to have different approaches. And so the same 3 principles that I'm applying for YouTube, I can apply in my business. I can apply in my life. And that's why I want to encourage you. It's all about the right attitude. Let me tell you a story. This was back in 2016. Really at the end of 2015 and when it started, December 15, 2015, I remember. Well, a lot of you here are Christian believers. I listen to some of your videos, and I appreciate that. And so you may understand what I'm talking about. Some people may not understand this, but you'll understand. Well, during that time, I'm a believer. The Lord put something in my spirit to come off of my job in 2015. And I've been walking with the Lord for a while, and so I know I can hear his voice. And when I say God tell me to do something, I believe that. And it always come to pass when I trust him. And so I've learned to trust him. So I came off of my job. Now, in my mind, I thought that it was going to be for ministry. I thought I was going to be a full-time pastor. And that's why he wanted me to come off my job, because it was January, starting in January. And that's our month of consecration. So I was going to be consecrating myself, and I was going to prepare for the work that the Lord had me to do. Now, just to sum it all up, it was about ministry. it just didn't go the path I thought it was going to go down. Well, no job, no money, bills are not getting paid. I was renting a house at that time, and we got evicted, me and my family. And here, I would love, like I said in one of my earlier videos, January 1st, I kind of talk about it. I would love to tell you that everything worked out when I stepped out on faith, but no, it didn't. All hell broke loose, and everything fell apart, and it was embarrassing. And because I have my wife and my son, he's 12 now, 12 years old now, and we were homeless. Now I have older children from my first marriage because I'm remarried, and those children are grown. But at that time they were teenagers when this was happening, and at that time I did have joint physical legal custody of them. So they was with their mother half the time, and they were with me half the time. And when I became homeless, they went with their mother full time. So now I'm being feeling low as a man, as a provider, a husband, a father. I'm at a low point during this time. But it was about having the right attitude. No matter how low it was for me, I was always positive. When someone asks me, how you doing? They don't know I'm homeless. I'm like, fantastic, and I put a smile on my face. I don't believe in sharing all my negative thoughts with people when I meet them. Now, right now, I can tell the testimony now because I've overcome it. But when I'm going through the struggles, I don't share that with everyone. I'm always positive about it. And so I didn't know what direction I was going to go in. And then I was learning about software development. I wasn't good at it. I was struggling with it. But then the Lord told me to go to Launch Code. And that's where I went, to Launch Code. And I remember going there vividly. I didn't have a laptop, and I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't confident in what I was doing. I felt like maybe this is not for me. I'm not smart enough, especially when you're dealing with ADHD. It's hard for us to learn new things. You have to be committed to it. You have to make the commitment. And so I went to the interview, and I took my iMac. I had an iMac 27-inch. I didn't even have a laptop. I had to plug it in, wait for it to boot up, and then I took the assessment. I didn't do good at all. But the young lady there, she said, hey, it's up to you. You have to just come up here. That's all. She didn't put me in any classes or anything because I didn't have the aptitude to be able to learn it, but I had the tenacity. I had the grit. And so I would go every once. It was called Coder Girl. I would go there every Wednesday, and I would just sit there. And then this developer gravitated over to me, and he began to give me some pointers. Well, fast forward a little bit, because this is a long story. But fast forward, I went to Launch Code, and after they eventually put me into a little mentorship program that was for 8 weeks. I joined that, completed it. They sent my resume out, and I got an interview. So I go down there to get the interview the first day. We're living in a hotel now at this time, and the chillers in the hotel had broken, so these people wasn't going to fix it, but I had to have a place to stay. My wife and my son were staying with their mother. I wasn't going to live with anybody. I was going to have to say, if I had to sleep in my car, I was going to have to sleep in my car because I did that. I made that decision, and I'm trusting the Lord. But I always had the positive attitude, Lord, you got me. And so I get the interview with this one place. So I go down, I took the Metrolink. I live in St. Louis, took the Metrolink downtown, and I went to the interview. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not qualified for this job. But the whole time I got a smile on my face and greeting people, and people are liking my personality. And so I went through the whole interview for 8 hours, didn't accomplish nothing. I can't do the work. But timing is everything, because at this time, everyone was looking for developers. If you just act like you want to learn how to develop, they almost was going to hire you because they felt like if they could teach it to you, then they can build their teams. So they asked me if I wanted to come back the next day to finish up. I said yes. So I went back to the hotel, and I stayed up all night trying to understand what I needed to understand to solve this problem. Didn't work. So I'm on a train going down to the interview the next day. I get a call from my wife. She was hysterical. She was so upset. She was like, Terrence, They garnished my check. They took the whole check, all the money, her whole check. They left it with like maybe a few dollars. I was so devastated. I wanted to go into pity mode. And I said, I'm not even going to this interview because I'm not qualified. I'm not going to get the job. I'm just going to be wasting my time. So I was just going to soak in my pity and just ride the train because I had a pass for the whole day. I was just going to ride the train all day. But when I got down to the stop close to where I was supposed to do my interview, the Lord spoke to me. He said, go to that interview. I'm like, okay. So I get off the train and I had to walk like 8 blocks, and these are city blocks. They were long. So I had to walk 8 blocks to get there to the interview. Now again, these people don't know I'm homeless. These people, they just saw, and I'm older too. I'm in my 40s at this time. And they just see an older, because they were younger. They just see this older guy. And so, and big, bubbly, joyful guy, really. I'm a big dude, so I'm a big jolly guy. And so, went through the interview almost the whole day that day. Well, it got down to the final hour. And it was another young lady there from Launch Code too, but she had already got hired. Now, she was very smart as a whip, sharp as a tack. And she asked me, hey, Tim, do you want to see the source code? I'm like, yeah, because then I could try to figure it out by looking at the source code. So she gave me the source code, and I went through the source code, and then I turned it in. Well, they called me into the office that day, the end. So I'm thinking that I was just going to thank them because I know I'm not going to get this job. But that's me having doubt. But that's not what the Lord was saying. So when I sat down, I'm just smiling. And the guy and my project manager, they were like, we want to offer you the intern, because it was an internship technically. And normally with Launcher back then, you would get $15 an hour. But they said, we're going to give you $20 an hour because you got to come downtown and park. So now I'm making $20 an hour with something that's more consistent. I wasn't hired yet. I had to get hired on, but that was like a 3-month deal. For 3 months, then they're supposed to hire you on. But it ended up extending to 6 months, and then they hired me. I stayed at that job for 2.5 years, learning to be a software developer. And the whole process, even though I was down, I was broken, I was defeated, I had the right attitude. I smiled. They didn't know it. No, people don't have to know all your struggles. And that's why this approach with this channel, I have the right attitude. I'm not focused on trying to make the money. I'm not focused on trying to get monetized. Those things will come later. I just need to be consistent. I want to improve, and I need to build my confidence. So this is probably a long video. Hopefully that you liked it. If you watched it to the end, thank you. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and also make a comment. And tell me how you found this channel. If you found it from a comment that I made on someone else's channel, or if you saw the thumbnails, or did it get put in your feed and you say, hey, I want to watch that. Let me know how you found my channel. I appreciate that. That's going to help me understand the direction that I need to go in. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep improving and building my confidence and being consistent. All right, so that's the end of this video. I'll see you in the next video. Have a fantastic day. All right, see you later.